gray, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruitless plain.
They deserve more than this, so we're going to back this up away from the speaker.
That was a catastrophe.
There you go. That's better.
Now we got that over with. Okay. I'll try again.
Yeah, from the top.
All right. Feel free to sing along. That will make us feel a lot less embarrassed. Okay.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Kitsap County Republican Party has a great many friends, and they're represented here tonight. First, and I'm sorry to group you all like this, but you know the schedule is everything. I would like to see our legislators stand up. We have Jan Angel, Dan Griffey, Jesse Young, and Matt Shea. And of course, all the way from Mason County, Tim Sheldon. Thank you very much. Now, we have some important work to do, and representative of some of that work is a port commissioner that's up for re-election that we will re-elect. I would like to introduce you, if you don't already know him, to Axel Stracklejohn. Now, I happen to be from Bremerton. I'm from a well-managed city. That should tell you that we have a Republican mayor. And joining us tonight, welcoming us to her city, is Mayor Patty Lent.
And a beautiful city it is. Being fiscally responsible means a lot to me as the mayor of Bremerton, but also because when I became the mayor 8 years ago, we were in that recession. And the hardest thing was to make some decisions that we could stay afloat, the Navy, but also that we could take and make those decisions to strengthen the city and make our service to our residents that much better. Your presence tonight at this dinner not only we had lots of church programs that took place last night, because that was the Friday, Good Friday. Tomorrow is Easter. We couldn't have planned a better day for the Lincoln Day dinner, for us to acknowledge one another, our faith, our values, and the things that we believe in for the country, for the state, the county, and the city. I welcome you to the city of Bremerton. I'm hoping you like what we're doing for it, the changes we've made, and the service we provide. Saying that, I join you in this honored Lincoln Day dinner. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Now, I hope you will also join me in ensuring that we re-elect Patty Lind. All right. Now, we have a couple of other really important folks here. We have Commissioner Ed Wolf. Hello? Hello, Commissioner Ed Wolf. And I think you're back there. Yeah. All right. And we do have our assessor with us, Phil Cook, and I think we'll hear more about him later. Now, we do have, oh, my goodness, I forgot to mention Greg Sandstrom. Thank you very much. I was so happy to see that when he came here, I forgot to add him to the list. All right. Now, the people that are going to make sure that these folks get elected, including, are you aware that we lost a man named Hill in the legislature? Dan Hill? Well, we've got to make sure that that spot is filled with somebody who's going to look at our budget with a fiscal conservative eye. And Jin Young Lee, it says Jin Young Lee, England for State Senate. Now that's what we need to do to fill this Senate. So what I want you to do is just not take my word for it. I want you to go to the internet, to the newspapers, whatever resource you've got, see if this person is the fiscal conservative we need, and then send them something, maybe $5. You know, our own Drew McEwen ran the numbers. And once an elected official for a legislative seat gets over 300 donors, they have basically turned the corner to victory. Well, if we all gave our candidates $5, maybe we got 10 candidates, we'd be out $50. But out of this room, they would have over half of what they need to make it to victory. So I would suggest everybody here donate that, at least that. Jan Angel.
That seat is the seat to hold or lose the Senate Majority Coalition Caucus. There's envelopes out here as you get ready to go down the stairs on the table. Please help her out. We've got to win that seat to hold the majority.
Thank you. See, that is very important. We plan on taking the House. But what benefits does it give us to take the House of Representatives if we lose the Senate? We must hold the Senate. And thank you, Jan Angel, for bringing that news to us. All right. So none of this happens, of course, without the precinct committee officers of the Kitsap County Republican Party. So if you are a PCO, a precinct committee officer of the Kitsap County Republican Party, please stand up and get the warm welcome that you deserve. All right, thank you very much. All right, now dinner will be served soon. I'm wondering if we have Chef David available. She's running back to get our chef. Our chef is going to tell us what we're going to be eating tonight. All right, and is he on his way? Good. They're going to wrestle him out of that kitchen.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
All right, so I also want to know if our Kitsap County Republican Board will come to the front, because we've got some important business to take care of. We're going to give some awards to some very important people in our Kitsap County Republican Party. So if you're a member of the executive board, please come up. those four on this side.
Good.
All right, Chef David, could you make your way up here? I'm sorry, you're going to have to stand here now while the chef describes the dinner.
Sorry.
All right, so you're going to describe the dinner, and will you also describe that wonderful creme brulee?
I will, yeah. Hi everybody. So the dinner will start with a Caesar salad. No special introduction for the Caesar salad, I imagine. But it will be followed by, so for those who had the chicken, it's a chicken marsala. We grill the breast, finish it in the oven. The sauce is mushroom, marsala, and cream, and basically just that, and just simple, and it's great. For those who had the prime rib we smoked with rosemary. So it's really smoky and rosemary-ish. But we finish it with a demi-glace that, so you know sometimes we have a buffet here, and when we have the gravy, people say, where's the horseradish? When we have the horseradish, people say, where's the gravy? So we put the horseradish in the gravy. Then we, but it's not too spicy, and if you want a side of horseradish, we'll be happy to do that. The vegetable tonight, it's a medley. We have pepper, turnips, kale. It's very colorful. You have broccoli, and they're not steamed or soggy. They were all seared. Okay. Then we have mashed potato with truffle, with parsley and garlic for the starch. And I believe you have an auction tonight for a table, the lucky table that gets the creme brulee. So the creme brulee, it's a very, very delicate custard, vanilla custard. It's caramelized on the top with sugar until you can just break it with a spoon. But before you can eat it, I'm gonna pour on it a little sauce of red berry flamed with cognac.
Oh.
All right? Yeah. Enjoy.
So, for the lucky table that wins that creme brulee, that flame is going to happen right at your table, and everybody else is going to have to wait until you get your creme brulee. All right, so I want to move on to something very, very important to me, and that is rewarding those people that do such amazing work. We've got to start with someone who's not here. Chris Tibbs is with Michelle, and they're down in Portland, and they're seeing to her health right now. But Chris Tibbs, can you believe it, is the Kitsap County Republican Party Man of the Year. So I'm going to ask our committee woman, Autumn Bennett, to present this, but I'm going to ask Chris Tibbs' choice, Ed Wolf, to come up and accept this award on Chris Tibbs' behalf.
So this is not my award. And I just learned about this, but Chris was instrumental with the Republican Party of Kitsap County, or at least for my election and many others. And Chris, spoke to Chris tonight. He's in Portland with Michelle for some personal reasons, and I'm here supporting our party and Chris. And Chris, if he were here, he would say, he's going to Disney World tomorrow. Anyway, thank you for Chris, and that's all I can say.
All right, so now we come to the point that is near and dear to my heart, because I have seen this dynamo come into the Republican Party and do so much work and achieve so many things. I want you to help and welcome the 2017 Kitsap County Republican Party Woman of the Year, Miss Naomi Evans.
Nowhere roots is really where I come from. But you know what? I will fight my ass off for you guys any day of the week.
Yay, Naomi. And if you haven't jumped on board the cause of stopping fraternity fraud, get on board. All right. Now, I had the pleasure of actually having this person in my home before she was elected. And then she comes to my very first Lincoln Day dinner, and I don't mention her name. I want you to welcome our prosecutor, Tina Robinson. Now, this one is a tough one because we've got to pick somebody that we think is the elected official of the year for the Kitsap County Republican Party. And we've got legislators in there battling day in and day out. We've got a county commissioner that's outnumbered 2 to 1. We've got some people that do some tough work. But the awards committee, and by the way, I want to thank the awards committee. We have a couple of them here. Alice Teresi, there's you, right here, and Ran Hine. Thank you. Because they had no easy choices. Well, maybe Naomi. All right, but I want to welcome. And the awards committee didn't tell me all of their thinking, but I know that our tax system is easier to understand. The assessor will come out and explain it to you anytime. The website is cleaner. You know what's happening. There are no surprises. I want to welcome the elected official of the year for the Kitsap County Republican Party, our assessor, Phil Cook.
I've been asked to give you all a few words, and those who know me know that we usually have far more than just a few. I gotta say, I appreciate the irony of this is normally tax day in this country. If it were a weekend and you award the tax guide for Kitsap on the day that is symbolic with our IRS taxes being due. I'm extremely humbled to win this award. When Tony called me, I was on spring break with my children and was completely surprised and taken off guard by the fact that I'd be even considered amongst all the fine legislators that we have here in the local party to win such to receive such an award. But this is really just symbolic of the fine work that the assessor's office staff does. This really is for them, not me. They are always finding ways to work more efficiently and be more effective with the resources that we have available. And fortunately, I just happen to be the face of that office and get to receive this award on their behalf. But we're constantly trying to push the envelope with what we can do. And you all know me that when I ran, I was a big advocate for transparency and the belief that you as citizens need to know where your tax dollars are going and what's happening. And I'm proud to say that in the couple years that I've been there, our office has gone from being the number 7th most efficient office in the state to the number 3 most efficient office in the state. And thank you. We won't rest until we're number 1. There's a lot of studies the Department of Revenue does to calculate this, and so I'm extremely proud of our staff and what they do each year. And I accept this on behalf of my staff. So thank you very much.
Now, we have a prestigious award that is not given out every year. It need not be given out every year. It's given out when it is deserved. Now, in this case, it is well deserved. We are talking about the Dave and Faye Hinden Legacy Award for Sustained Excellence. This is not something like I can come in and work for the party 3 or 4 years and expect to get this award. Not even close. This is somebody who's been doing the work, the hard work, for a long, long time, and is so appreciated by our Republican Party. So I would like, if you would join me in welcoming the 2017 Dave and Faye Hinden Legacy Award recipient, Jan Stump. Now, very few people have what it takes to be worthy of presenting this award, but we're very fortunate to have the namesake of the Dave and Faye Hinden Legacy Award. We have Faye Hinden Klingbill with us. Will you please come and present this award to Jan Stump?
Goes to a well-deserved woman. Anybody that knows her knows how she serves, how she works, and how she regards the party and all of the conservative elements in our county. So it's my privilege.
This is so amazing. I don't really know what to say. It was really funny. I said to my husband, "Do you know, Bill, that they're going to give you this award?" And then you called me up here, and I was just joking with him. But this really goes to so many people, and I can't imagine that I'm receiving it. But I belong to a wonderful club and a wonderful group of women in our county, and I will do my best to continue to earn this and pass it on to the next one. Thank you so much for keeping me going away here.
Ladies first, yes.
All righty. Well, this is our Kitsap County Republican Executive Board, and I thank you for being up here to help honor our awardees. And please go back and enjoy your dinners. Everyone, show your appreciation, please, for our executive board. Where are they at? Yay! And the Central Kitsap Republican women, where are they at? This is really special to me because we've never had them all here at the same time, and that's great. Now, we have this quiet little bunch that we put over here, the Kitsap Patriots Tea Party. All right, and I would like to mention that we have a, I always get the title of his job wrong. I always call him a water commissioner. We have Marcus Hoffman, who has been serving us for 18 years, and he's going to be running for re-election for another 6 years. And Marcus, on the ballot, what is the name of the job that you've been doing so well? Commissioner. It's commissioner. It is water commissioner. No, commissioner. Just commissioner. All right. What is? It's a public utility district commissioner, right?
Not county commissioner, just commissioner.
Just commissioner. So if I look on the ballot, I'm going to see Marcus Hoffman, commissioner.
Only if you're in the Silverdale Water District.
Silverdale Water District. That's what I was trying to get out of him. All right. So he has been doing a wonderful job, and we want to keep him there. All right. Now, you may have heard me tell you time and again that we have had a resurgence of Republicans in Kitsap County. And that resurgence started with Senator Jan Angel. Now, I want to tell you that there is a resurgence of conservative republicanism sweeping the state of Washington. Now, it began way back in the day with Matt Shea, who would stand his ground so much that they called him the titanium statesman because his spine was made of steel. Then he was joined by Representatives Overstreet and Taylor, of course. Now those three started being called the Titanium Trio. Now when Elizabeth Scott joined them, we ran out of ways to, the titanium quartet. So, but we also in Kitsap County have given our bit to the state legislature as well. We've given Dan Griffey, Jesse Young, and also Michelle Caldeer and Drew McEwen. So we've done our bit to win this House. But I want to tell you that this Republican fire sweeping the state started over in Spokane, and it started with Representative Matt Shea.
I don't know about titanium, maybe the rusty penny and the brain trust or something like that. I don't know. How's everybody doing tonight? Donald Trump's in the White House. How's everybody doing tonight? Man, are you kidding me? I love it. And we're 2 votes away from a majority in the Washington State House of Representatives. And Jan Angel, we will hold the Senate in Washington State. We will indeed. All right, well, it's Easter weekend, so I start off every speech by saying, and especially when we're talking about politics, it's always good to remain centered. Our hope is not in man, our hope is in Jesus Christ. Wow. Amen? And it's a particularly poignant weekend for me because my family, we've been trying to get them out of Ukraine for 3 years. My brother-in-law, sister-in-law, my nephew, and they immigrated legally and well vetted to America on Tuesday to become patriots. So people have asked me, what do you think about Olympia? What's going on Olympia? So I got an Irish joke to tell you because I think it kind of encapsulates what's going on in Olympia. So Paddy O'Brien goes to the pub, of course, And he goes up to the bar and he says, I'm going to take 7 shots of Jameson and 7 pints of Guinness. Bartender says, hey, drinking quite a bit tonight, are you, Patty? He says, I am. And he promptly drinks them all right in a row. Boom, slams them all down. Bartender says, Patty, you need to be slowing down. What are you drinking so much for tonight? He said, well, you'd be drinking a lot too if you've got what I've got. Well, what do you got, Patty? $2. And that is the Democrat spending plan in Olympia. So it's great to be with all you radicals tonight. All right, I always do this. I'm an Army veteran, so you'll have to forgive me. I know I'm in Navy and Air Force country, but if you're a veteran, could you please stand so we can give you a round of applause today? Well, I would be remiss. It's kind of humbling to stand up here when you have so many good representatives in your area. And my good friend Jan Angel, we're working together on some of the Alex stuff, and Jesse Young, who's been a stalwart conservative for so long, and Michelle Caldier, please keep her in your prayers, with her health stuff that's going on right now as well. And then Drew McEwen and Dan Griffey, and I will say something about those two guys for a second. So when we have the really tough votes, you never have to go to them and say, hey, how are you going to vote? They're always voting conservative. They're always voting with us. And I think that's important because you want to send representatives that are going to go to Olympia and do what they said they're going to do. You do. And I'll also give Tim Sheldon a shout out. We worked on a private property rights bill on orange paint on trees means no trespassing. It's a big deal in Eastern Washington. I know it's a big deal over here as well. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about leadership. I want to talk to you about what's happening in Olympia, and I also want to talk to you about what we all should be doing. And first, we have to ask ourselves the question. I think this is the question that is the central question of all politics. Are we going to be God-fearing, self-reliant, freedom-loving Americans, or are we going to be government-dependent, Constitution-ignoring socialists? Now, you didn't even know you did this, but you guys have actually done a test of this. You're going to do a test of this tonight with the dessert table, okay? With the dessert auction, okay? So, the free market, self-reliant, freedom-loving American is the one that's going to buy the dessert. The socialist is the one that's going to say, hey, can you give me a piece of that without paying for it?
Whoa!
Now, I know later on there's going to be a bunch of finger pointing at the table.
You mark.
But isn't that really what we're talking about today in America? Really, isn't it? And the second follow-up question, literally, what are we prepared to do in defense of freedom? What are we prepared to do? I asked this question, it actually came from Oliver DeMille, great author, but he tells this story. And I'll start off by asking you, before I get to the story, how many of you are going to change the world? Raise your hand. That's pretty good. I like it. Look at that's why Kitsap's leading the way. Look at that. So Oliver DeMille's story goes like this. So there's a college graduation, and the dean of the school invites a speaker to come up. The speaker comes up and asks that exact same question. How many of you are going to change the world? And 6 very shaky young hands out of the audience raised up. Says, you 6, come up to the stage. So they come up to the stage, and the speaker grabs some chairs and puts them around in a circle, turns around and sits down with them and starts talking to them. And the audience gets very uncomfortable. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, people start murmuring. The speaker gets up and comes to the microphone and says, hey, could you guys keep it down? I want to talk to the 6 people who are going to change the world. Turns back around, sits down, starts talking to them. Finally, everybody's like, what do? They start leaving. And the only person left is the dean who invited the speaker. So the dean comes up to the front, and he's standing there, and he's kind of trying to listen into their conversation around the circle. And the speaker looks up at him and says, did you raise your hand? Could you please leave us alone? I want to talk to the 6 people who are going to change the world. So what's the moral of that story? Two things. You gotta go, and you gotta be willing to go against the flow, come what may. And the second moral of that story is, it only takes a few dedicated patriots to change the world. That's it. So as we talk about things like leadership, we need to not be worried so much about people liking us, or our credibility, as it were, as it's tied to people liking us. We need to be worried about leading. People look to the Republicans in America from around the world. I don't think we realize that. From around the world. Because we're the ones that are leading on the issues of freedom and liberty. You know, some people say that, you know, we can't do this, we can't do that. And I respond to those kind of things by saying, ineffectiveness is born of fear. And we're talking about Easter weekend. 300 times in Scripture it says, do not fear. 300 times it says, do not fear. And as Christians, you ask the question, is God sovereign? Do we trust Him? More importantly, do we act like it? As Republicans, do we act like it? We've got the truth on our side. We do, not them. We have the truth on our side. We just have to articulate it. And I would simply submit to you that our culture is corrupt because we don't show up. And one of the things that I want to say tonight, we talked about a water district earlier. In the 4th District in Spokane Valley, way over there in eastern Washington, we got 52 elected positions in one legislative district. 52! Wow. Now, some of them are inglorious, I admit. You know, who wants to be the sewer commissioner? Although I would say that's probably the most honest job in politics. But, we have all of those positions. We're not showing up. Guess who is? The socialists. And then we wonder, because every single one of those jurisdictions is a taxing jurisdiction, why our pocketbooks are so light. We need to start looking at running for all of those offices and starting to show up at the local level. The second thing that I would say is that leadership is not the ability to compromise. It's the ability not to. It's the ability to articulate your position in such a way as to bring people over to your point of view. Some may say that all we need is courage, and I think that's part of it. But we also have to have courage with a good message articulated in a good way, otherwise we're going to lose everybody, right? You know, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and I love this quote, said, "Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act." Now, he called it the confessing church. I'm going to take that and say, are we the confessing party? Are we going to stand up and say, you know what, that's wrong? And instead of reacting and playing defense or being afraid to tell the truth. And some people say, well, how can you possibly be effective in Olympia? That's exactly how you're effective in Olympia, in Washington, D.C., or in a water district in Kitsap County. Our freedom agenda that we started, and Jesse Young and many other representatives have been a part of this, is the most successful slate of conservative legislation in over 20 years. And I want to give you good news. You hear a lot of bad news. I want to give you good news. For those of you out there that are pro-life, we tied 48-4. This is Washington State, remember. The state that legalized abortion before Roe versus Wade. We tied 48-48 to defund abortion in Washington State. That's how close it is, folks. We stopped the assault weapons ban, so-called assault weapons ban in Washington State. We defunded the database that wasn't supposed to exist in Washington State. So get this. So they say, there's no database. Hey, can we have $250,000 to upgrade the database? You're not supposed to have a database. Unbelievable. We stopped the carbon tax in Washington State this year. We're actually promoting a bill right now that looks like it's going to go through to protect data privacy in Washington State. In this state, We have been fighting the Growth Management Act. Many of you, that's kind of a dirty word. I see your head shaking, right? 3 bills of Growth Management Act reform for the first time in 2 decades. This year we've been able to get through in Washington State. You know, I want to talk too about what Jan Angel said earlier. You know, the Senate. If you want an income tax, capital gains tax, bottled water tax, I don't know. I want to give them any other ideas, so I'm not going to go off any further. But if you want one of those things, then you can vote for the Democrats. If you don't want a tax increase, we have to make sure that the Senate stays in majority hands, because if it does not, that's what's going to happen, folks. It's what's going to happen. So this year, too, there was $3 billion in new revenue this year. $3 billion. It's a huge number for a state, right? But that's not enough. They want to raise taxes by $8 billion over the next 4 years. And I got to tell you something. That's the only reason we're going to special session, and we are going to special session this year, because of their insistence on tax increases. The Senate has a plan to not raise taxes and balance the budget, and we're good. But that's just not enough. And that's why a dinner like this is so important tonight, because our support